The relationship between games and education has always had different perspectives. Some people believe that games can make students addicted, while others believe that games can make students love learning. Minecraft education is a popular game worldwide and has been successfully applied in fields such as mathematics, geography, spatial geometry, and information literacy improvement. It fosters creative and inclusive learning through interdisciplinary STEAM education, 21st century skills education, and comprehensive quality education. The practical application of games in education has a long history. The common educational games include mini-games, complex games, role-playing games, and games based on learning science. Minigames are small learning games played on computers or tablets, focusing on subjects like English, Chinese characters, numbers, and ancient poetry. Each game presents specific scenarios and roles, enabling children to acquire basic knowledge and skills through level-based challenges. Minigames are particularly easy to integrate into traditional teaching methods. Motion Math is a complex game that helps learners develop a physical and intuitive understanding of fractions, decimals, and percentages. For example, it combines gameplay with learning by connecting each type of number with its distance on the number line. This approach makes math learning concrete, visual, and interactive, cultivating higher-level abilities in learners. River City is a multi-user virtual environment game developed by Harvard University, specifically designed for K-12 education based on a middle school science curriculum. This project enables learners to immerse themselves in a virtual 19th century city, where they can address environmental and health problems by observing water quality, conducting experiments, and interacting with non-player characters. Learners utilize interactive inquiry tools to explore complex virtual worlds, collect data on simulated objects, communicate with intelligent computer agents, and engage in diverse cooperative learning activities. The Games to Teach project is a role-playing game for higher education and vocational education. Led by Professor Jenkins at MIT in collaboration with Microsoft, it aims to integrate MIT course content into interactive and immersive electronic games. The development team has released 15 concept prototypes to involve subjects such as mathematics, science, engineering, environment, social sciences, and education. Some of these prototypes have been designed as games, including the type of augmented reality games. Teachable Agents is a game grounded in learning science, developed by Awesomely Adaptive and Advanced Learning and Behavior at Stanford University. It incorporates the research results of cognitive science, programming technology, and classroom practice, allowing learners to employ concept maps to teach computer agents and facilitate self-directed learning. How can we enhance student performance, motivation, attitude, collaboration, and engagement in the gamification of learning? Professor Shanxunjie believes that the gamification of learning aims at making learning more scientific, enjoyable, and effective, and proposes 3 core values of educational games: game motivation, game fiction thinking, and game spirit, among them. Game motivation is the most basic and practical value, emphasizing the use of games to stimulate learning motivation. Game fiction thinking means going beyond the form of games and emphasizes designing non-game learning activities as games. Game spirit is the most meaningful value, emphasizing that learners should treat the learning process and outcomes with the spirit and attitude they have towards games. The core connection between the 3 core values is deep intrinsic motivation. Simply put, game motivation refers to using games for learning. Game fiction thinking refers to turning learning into a game. And game spirit refers to turning the entire learning process and even one's life into a game. How do you design educational games? Prof. Sheng's team at Peking University explored educational game design and application from the perspective of mathematics learning. Taking the learning of the folding and unfolding concept in mathematics as an example, the team discussed the principles for educational game design from 4 aspects: the information processing model in educational games, effective instructional scenario creation, motivation stimulation, and the role of teachers in facilitating guidance. They constructed an educational game design theoretical framework with 3 dimensions: cognition, motivation, and regulation, providing a reference for educational game design. Cognitive design. When learners play educational games, They allocate limited processing capacity, including irrelevant processing, necessary processing, and generative processing. The goal is to minimize irrelevant processing, trigger necessary processing, and promote generative processing. On the one hand, presenting learning materials appropriately and avoiding the simultaneous presentation of too much learning material ensures the smooth progress of necessary processing. On the other hand, optimizing the design of environmental sound effects and minimizing unnecessary processing can enhance learners' focus on visual information. Motivation design. Educational games advocate the integration of knowledge and scenarios to promote meaningful learning for learners. Educational game design can attract learners by offering learners a unique individual identity, fostering a sense of uniqueness within the game context, and ultimately enhancing their engagement in educational games. Educational game design should follow the following principles: gradually increasing the complexity of concepts and content and adjusting the challenge level as individual skill levels improve. Educational designers can create a dynamic tension that balances between boredom and frustration. Clearly define game rules to make learning replicable. Provide clear goals to learners. Provide learners with fast and clear feedback so that they know the progress of the game and what efforts are still needed to complete game tasks. Design game interfaces clearly and user-friendly to reduce irrelevant processing. Regulation design. One notable feature of educational games is that learners can engage in self-regulated learning, which involves connecting new experiences with prior knowledge and experiences, allowing learners to effectively organize and absorb the embedded learning content in the game. In this process, teachers play a relatively important role, creating knowledge scaffolds based on learners' ability to complete tasks independently. Designing step-by-step instructional guidance to provide opportunities for expression and reflection for learners. Providing timely learning support before learners complete all tasks. Designing appropriate learning data collection points to collect the necessary feedback and evaluation data. We can employ these design principles to develop and apply educational games.